Hello my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be doing my makeup as though I was going through sorority recruitment again. It's rush makeup, okay? I thought this would be fun. I thought, well, how many people who are watching are actually in those shoes right now? I'm not sure, but the basis of this look is long wear, a look that involves really bringing your best self forward and something that knowing you're gonna be in face-to-face conversations with people is not gonna risk looking too unnatural, right? We're not doing stage makeup here, but again, we do want the long wear. We want it to really look good, and this could go for those who are on the side of the potential new member or the side of, you know, you're in the sorority, you've got possibly long days, lots of different rush parties, loads of new people to meet, and this might just give you that little added confidence boost. And shout out Pi-Fi at Monmouth College, that's where I went. But if you're on TikTok and you get into like all the Bama Rush stuff, I mean, it's fascinating what goes into it. It's a different world, it seems like. Just the sheer amount of girls involved, you got the daily OOTDs, but nobody's really talking about their makeup. I want to see the makeup of the day. So therefore, I'm inspired to do this video and share my 2 cents on things. So last week I did a video talking about some of the most effective and just best, lowest cost complexion products in the drugstore. So a couple of those are going to find their way into this video. I'm starting with my Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer with the 12-hour makeup grip. I have talked about this one a lot. It definitely is kind of trying to go the route of Milk Hydro Grip and those super tacky e.l.f. primers, but it's just very easily blendable across the skin. Still, I think, contributes to a very long-wearing makeup look. So I really enjoy using that. It adds a little extra hydration to my skin, and it's going to pair really well with a variety of different foundations. This is going to be like a mostly drugstore video, as in, I think I have one product in here that's not drugstore. Okay, just the way it worked out. Rimmel Lasting Finish. You know what's interesting? I had seen some Sephora hauls, like people, I'm getting ready to go back to college, or I'm starting college for the first time, here's my Sephora haul. It's like hundreds of dollars worth of makeup. And I'm thinking, what about the drugstore? Like, are you guys not aware that like there's this and it's amazing? And the reason why I picked this one in particular is because I think it might be the best across multiple skin types. So even if you're more oily, all the way over to the drier side, just consider the fact that if you're drier, you want to have the skin well prepped underneath. I should have mentioned that before, but I've got my moisturizer on, I've got sunscreen on, all that was taken care of ahead of time, and now we can use some foundation, which I wear in the shade Soft Beige. I'm most likely to find this product at Walgreens, by the way, and it's been around for a long time. I was kind of reacquainted with it earlier this year and realized, hey, this stuff is serious. Really good staying power, but not too thick. You're going to be really impressed by the fact that it's really not very heavy on your skin. But I'm just going to blend that in with this little brush from Profusion. But it's also tricky because rush is happening during, you know, pretty much no matter where you are in the US, it's going to be hot. It's hot in August. So you have yet another obstacle. But as I blend this in, I think you can see I'm getting a really amazing coverage, but my skin's not looking like dry and cakey. Again, with the thought of you're going to be having face-to-face conversations in close proximity with other people. They're going to be getting a good look at your face. Let's not just show makeup, but let's show what appears to be really good skin. And even if you don't have my exact products that I'm using in this video, obviously I'm using things that I would really recommend, but consider how you can also adapt things you already have to this look too. For concealer, I'm going to do a little 1-2 punch today with a brightener and a concealer. This is my e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener in the shade Fair. And this is really, really good. Maybe you've had some late nights. Maybe you're part of a sorority. I remember meetings going really long after having rush parties. And you got some dark circles to contend with. So I dab this around like the innermost, deepest part of my eye, and also the outer corners. And then this is a little Sephora 71 brush, but use whatever like kind of compact size brush or sponge you want to use to blend this in. It doesn't take a lot of working in. It's very creamy, and it's pretty much a dupe for the Becca and Smashbox Under Eye Brightening Corrector, which I loved for years and was very familiar with. And this really has that creaminess, so it's not going to make you look too dry, but it's really going to do the job brightening wise. Love love this. And then for my actual concealer that you can use anywhere on the face, one of the most flawlessly long wearing concealers is from Dermablend, and it's called Cover Care. You can find this brand at Ulta, or you can get this on Amazon. I wear 15C. It's called Cover Care Full Coverage Concealer. Now I also really love e.l.f. Camo Concealer, either in the regular or the hydrating version. Both are really good, but this is just one that honestly you can go through the entire day and I feel like stuff stays looking exactly the same. So now that I've done that brightener, I feel like I can use a little bit less of this concealer. We don't need to draw big streaks and deposit a ton on our skin. Just a little dot and a little bit out here. And then I like maybe a little extra brightness there on the nose. I have a little redness around the nostrils, so I'll get in there, and the chin. Take this brush, smaller brush. We're not aiming to do a full blend, we're aiming to just spread that dot out a bit. Look how brightening, and it's super full coverage. Keep in mind the skin was prepped before this. We're not just going in with this concealer on top of really dry under eyes. I use Vanny Cream, the moisturizing cream, every day as my eye cream. Really swearing by that. I use it every night too. It's my day and my night eye cream. Again, we're not aiming for a full blend here. We're just spreading the dot as far as she will go, covering more surface area. Now go in with that same brush that you used to blend out your foundation, or you could be using a sponge. Sponge will just lessen your coverage ever so slightly. But look, dabbing, pressing in, and I mean, you just can't pick apart that under eye. We are so covered, we are so even, but yet it really doesn't look thick. How do they do it? I don't know. I invite you to look up close at that under eye area. It's just looking bright and even. That's all, not looking thick with anything. I'm gonna set this lightly with some Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in Fair. This is my favorite setting powder, and I do think a little bit of setting is what's really gonna take you through the day with this look. I'm not saying you wouldn't wanna like pack a little pressed powder just in case, but we've applied some stuff to the under eye area here, and now we want to go over that with, I wouldn't say I'm doing a full-on super heavy bake. If you're new to my videos, I'll just let you know we call this a microwave, okay? We're not baking, we're microwaving. It's lighter, and we're dusting it away immediately. But that's an e.l.f. Pinky Puff, by the way. Isn't it cute? And then any small to mid-sized brush you have, we kind of dust that away. And we continue to have skin that's looking even but not dry. We are matte, you know, that powder mattifies even more. And I'm gonna give you one more little trick for staying power. We're gonna go in with blushes and bronzers and really liven up the skin in a second. But if you really want amazing staying power, get this Maybelline Super Stay, the Hybrid Powder Foundation. I wear 128. We're gonna dip into this super lightly. This is a very soft powder. Very lightly with my brush. And then that's gonna go elsewhere where I didn't just use the loose powder. Lightly. And I just find that this really helps lock it all in. We've got a goal that involves staying power today, so this is going to be invited into the look for sure. Skin is looking really even. We're extra bright right in here. Love that. Now we want to create some dimension. Oh, I lied. This is not a drugstore product. If you want a drugstore alternative, look to the Wet n Wild sticks. But I really love these sticks from Persona. They've got these things called Dream Sticks. Some are blushes that kind of double like lip and cheek products. They've got contours as well. This shade called Dune, I kind of rediscovered this over the weekend. I'm like, oh, that shade is so good. Not too light, not too dark. So we're gonna do some contouring with this. I'm not a big nose contour person personally for me, but if you like that, go for it. I'm taking a Sephora 56, which is my favorite shape and size of brush to blend this out with. I've been asked what's a drugstore alternative to this. You could use that Profusion brush that we started out doing foundation with, or a Real Techniques Expert Face brush isn't too far off from this size either. But see how easily that just stamps in, and suddenly we're a little more sunny around the hairline. And we are gonna set this with some powder bronzer. Some of you guys are gonna be like, and how is this not gonna look like a thick face of makeup face to face with someone? But I swear, it's gonna do well. We're pressing into the skin. We're not swirling. We're not raking back and forth. Press, press, press the product in, making those cheekbones stand out. Okay, we good with that? I love that product. Then I'm just gonna use some Wet n Wild bronzer. This is the Color Icon bronzer in the shade What Shady Beaches. I hope nobody encounters any shady beaches during Rush. And then we're gonna take that around the hairline. As you can see, this bronzer has some depth, and I feel like this does a couple of things. It helps the bronzer step as a whole last really well on your skin because we're topping off cream with powder, and it also just softens too. Doing a little buff right there in that zone and over here. And then furthermore, we can take this product down onto the neck, chest. I mean, don't ignore areas like right back in here. Think about any exposed skin. And then you can lightly just get some on the brush and say, hey, I'm taking that directly where the sun might hit. Go over the nose, go over tops of cheeks. You know, we're not aiming to undo all that nice brightness we have there, but it's just a good bronzer, okay? For blush, so many good blushes in the Wet n Wild range here, the color icon line. I have recently fallen in love with the shade called Pinch Me Pink. It has a little kind of satiny sheen, really great pigment, and we're just gonna pop this right here. I just feel like this is a shade that could work paired with like any outfit and just give you that perfect pinky flush, okay? I'm a blush person. I maybe like a little more blush than the average bear, but I think that's very like universally acceptable there. I feel like if I was part of a sorority these days and I had people going through, I would get into a lot of makeup related discussions. I'm trying to think back to like what I discussed with people back in the day. We had different ideas for talking points and stuff, but I always tried to just go with the flow of what it seemed like that person wanted to talk about, the potential new member. But nowadays I think I'd be like, just straight up tell me, what blush are you wearing? And if I can find somebody who loves blush as much as I do, she's in. We are looking really good, but we're also very matte. So highlighter is important at this stage of the game, and we want to place it carefully. We don't need a ton because keep in mind, this makeup is going to become more and more lived in as the day goes on. You're going to have perhaps some sweat or some natural glow coming through a little bit. We're not just doing this makeup look for the moment it gets done. We're doing it with the thought of how's this going to go all day. So a little highlighter is going to be good, but we're not going to use too much. This is again from Wet n Wild, so we had that trifecta. The Wet Shady Beaches, the color icon blush, pick your shade. Mellow Wine is good, Naked Brown is good, and then the highlighter. So Precious Petals is the one I have. Real Techniques setting brush, get a little bit on. Ever since I tried to emulate the AI pictures of myself, where I realized in almost all of them they were highlighting like right under the eye. And then I've kept doing that ever since. And I feel like it's very flattering, especially head on. You don't just have to be sideways to someone to get that glow that's right up here. And also it's a part of the skin where you're not really dealing with a lot of pores or wrinkles. So it kind of makes sense to me to brighten up that area, okay? I know everybody going through Rush is real worried about their wrinkles. Odds are there's some people my age watching this video too. Hitting the cheeks and a little bit right up here. I like to think of a little line going up from my brow here because it's kind of like where the forehead curves out. We hit those areas that would naturally catch light. Do you see what I mean? How we worked in light layers with this complexion look. I used one pump of foundation. I did not go pump, pump, pump. One pump of foundation and then concealer, small dots. We're getting still the full effectiveness of these products, but still, even with all the things we've done, it's still looking like skin. And then I would say if you can get your hands on some Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, this is what I'd put my money on. I do think Milani Make It Last is good, but I will never forget the night I went through a Luke Combs concert and came out on the other side after having applied this and thinking, I look the same. I look the same at the end of this concert where I sweat, got spilled on, blah, blah, blah. I used a good amount of this stuff that night. So some sprays of this. I always like to let it fall on my face instead of hitting me really dead on. Just let that mist fall on you and immediately things are looking even more one with the skin. Brows, go-to brow duo right now is from CoverGirl. It's the Clean Fresh line and I love this Nano Brow Pencil. I think I smell an Emily Award winner. Yeah, I think I might be almost ready to declare this one. It's just so good, guys, and it's really good whether you have super sparse brows and you need to create those hair-like strokes. It's skinnier than Brow Wiz. But if you've got a fairly thick brow, it's also ideal for just pinpointing those small areas where you need a little extra. There really is an advantage to this super skinny size. And it wears a long time, and if you're a cool dark brown hair girl like me, this dark brown is perfect. Warm browns do not make sense in my brows. They look like, why'd you put bronzer there? That's where it's at. That is a quick but complete fill-in. Now I could take larger pencils and I'd be still raking through. If I had any advice to potential new members going through Rush, I would say really truly try to be your authentic self. I think any situation where you're going through a process with a large number of other people, I think it can be tempting, just, our human instinct, I want to fit in. I want to fit in. But I would say stand out. And whether that's visually standing out, whether that's through the way you communicate, the things you have to talk about and say, let your true self come forward and be kind. Don't forget that this isn't just a means to an end. Like, there are a lot of other people going through this same process with you. What's the point in going to different houses and acting like, oh, I'm such a good person, I have so much character, blah, blah, blah. But then you're not kind to all the other people going through the process with you. So think about how you can help others. I feel like there's a lot of anxiety in our world today. How can you be a friend or give a boost, to someone else? I think that's important through all this. Milani eyeshadow primer. It may not seem like a very significant step by the looks of it, but this is important. I wouldn't bother doing eyeshadow if you're not going to put some primer underneath, especially this one, a tiny bit. If you use too much, it will have a reverse effect. And then I thought, what's a little eyeshadow palette? What's something drugstore, something affordable that can create a nice sort of sculpted, flattering eye that's not too much, but just kind of naturally helps your eyes pop even more. And I thought about the NYX Ultimate, the warm neutrals. I really don't think this is a glaringly warm palette. We do have some warm options in here, but all in all, we've got a lot of just basic, classic, really good quality, really long wearing neutrals. So we're thinking works with any outfit, works with any eye color. So I'm gonna go into this little basic shade right here, medium light brownish taupe with a crease brush, and I'm gonna get that in my crease. Again, we're keeping in mind, we're going to be talking to people at close range. So let's make sure everything gets really nicely blended, because that's just the type of thing that's going to show. So starting off with a soft shade, that's the whole point. Whenever we reach for a palette and, we're not immediately jumping to that, we're going to something like that or that. The whole point is that we're creating layers of softness, blending out edges so we can't see edges. This brush is so good for this step. Profusion. It's actually called the Firm Blending Eyeshadow Brush, but I just call it my crease brush. And I link to everything I'm using, both makeup and brush-wise, down below in the extra info section. Okay, are we pleased with that? This doesn't have to be a really dark look to create an impact, by the way. I'm gonna clean off this brush for a second. I'm going to take a little bit of this plummy color. It's like a plummy brown down in the corner, flat brush. We're gonna pat this on the outer part of the eye. I love the pigment in these shadows. They don't make you work for it. You're not gonna be building for days in order to create the desired effect, but yet they're not so fly away and hard to deal with that you're gonna have a bunch of fallout. We're patting all over that outer lid area, and I'm hitting the crease. I feel like I'm touching it with my brush. That's key. Touch the crease with the tip of the brush. And it's not screaming plum, is it? It's just a little bit deeper. Then I'm going to take my Profusion small pointed brush. If you follow the link down below, this is sold in a trio with this and one other thing. And I'm going to go into this shade. So it's about like that, only it's got just a little bit of shimmer. It comes off a little softer, deep shimmery brown. I'm going to go to that outer corner, and I'm going to begin swirling and starting to give myself a little lift, a little bit of lift on the outside. See what we're doing here? It's soft, but it's lifted. I'm speaking to my fellow 40-year-olds who want and need lift in their eye looks, but I feel like anybody kind of wants that on their face. I took that shade that was a little bit softer by way of its texture and its tone, a little bit softer than what was first put down there on the outer lid, and I just went blend, blend, blend in the direction generally of the tip of my brow. Imagine a line here, we're not going below it, okay? That's where the lift is. Now, come in with that original brush that you used in the crease and just go over things. Nothing additional added, but it might have, a little remaining shadow on it, that's fine. Go over it all. Again, we're looking at a shadow look where the shades really aren't objectionable for anything you're gonna pair this with. Then for a little bit of brightness here on the lid, I'm just gonna take one of my lighter shades here. I'm gonna use this cream, it's matte. And just kind of pull that from inner corner just to gently overlap that.
It's so easy. I know eyeshadow isn't really even the hugest of trends right now. I think it's maybe starting to make a little comeback. But I wanted a shadow look that would work for anything, but also do something for the lift on your face. Next up, I'm gonna use a little liquid liner here. I love this one from Milani. It's the Stay Put Tank Eyeliner. The tank refers to the way the liquid is in here that I guess keeps it from drying out. But this is a really nice rich brown. And I'm just gonna go across my upper lash line, staying really close to the lash line, okay? We're not wanting any kind of gap. Nice and close, thin line. You don't need to do anything fancy with it, but that will just kind of help your eyes pop a little bit more, I feel like, just having that small bit of darkness. It's not even like a liner anybody could totally put their finger on if you're staying thin enough with it. Okay, nice and easy. This is one of the easiest liners to apply. Optional step here if you want to get involved with the lower part of the eye. I love these sticks from Hard Candy. They're like long wearing shadow sticks. You don't have to set them. They will lock in. They will not drift downward. They will not smear and smudge. This one's called Cold Brew and it's like this dusty kind of brownish bronze. And you know, the thickness of it, it just gives you a smudgy sort of look, like you've applied smudgy eyeshadow there. Really nice and easy. You may or may not feel like this helps your eyes, depending on eye shape. Maybe you have really small eyes and you're like, I don't want to make them seem any more closed in, but I just promise you if you use it, it won't fade on you or drift or cause any issues for your look. So I really like using that. You notice the way the thickness is, it just kind of looks light and smoky. Again, kind of hard for anybody to really put their finger on what's there. For mascara, you might want to choose a tubing mascara. e.l.f. makes a good one called Lash Extender if you want a drugstore option, or Tartelette tubing mascara is good. Cali Ray, Come Hell or High Water. Those are all good options. Today, what I want to do for a really nice lengthened out and thickened up lash, I'm so surprised by this stuff, but Wet n Wild So Defined, really loving it. I love the way it builds on the eyes and just makes my lashes look way better than they naturally do. And this is my Shiseido lash curler that I swear by. Just simply the best shape for getting in touch with every lash along the lash line, the best curve, best squish to the pad that it's going into, you know. And then this brush has loads of little rubbery bristles. It's a little bit curved, and when you take it out of the tube, you can kind of see some product on there, and that's what helps it build up right away. It's a really well-designed product here from Wet n Wild. One coat and you're gonna be like, wow. And I'm really glad they sent this to me because I probably wouldn't have bought it myself. I wouldn't have just even thought to, but look at that, just one coat over there. And lately I've been feeling a little more take it or leave it about even putting anything on the lower lashes. I don't think it's an absolute necessity, and it's just kind of one less thing to worry about. Now I know if I put Cali Ray, Come Hell or High Water on the lower lashes, I won't be worried about that. But I've been kind of liking this emphasis lately on upper lashes only. See, just really quick building. Going back, adding another coat, and good about the curl holding too, which is really important for me. One more coat over here and we'll move on. Okay, for lip color, I think this is where you can really have some fun trying to create a little pop on the face depending on what your outfit is. I think a soft red lip would be beautiful. I think you could go pink, berry, whatever. But I will recommend a formula that I think is really good for you not having to worry about reapplications. And it's this Rimmel Provoca Lips product. So it's a two-step thing. It's kind of like CoverGirl Outlast, but I really love the feel of this top step. It feels to me like a liquid lip balm. It doesn't have that totally glass-like shine, but when you put it on top of this, it makes it look not like a matte lip, but like a cream lipstick. Just a really pleasant finish. So this is the shade called, I think it's called Summer Lovin'. Yeah, really easy color that I think could work for a lot of people in a lot of situations. Maybe you're not into matching your look with your lip color, that's fine. If you just want a general looks good with anything type of shade, I think this may be it. So I'm just painting this on my lips and then you let this dry. You can blot it to your top lip. It's fully opaque, so there's no point in like going over and over it. Just get one thin coat. Okay, there's that. It takes a while for that to set up, just like a few minutes. If you're really thinking, you could like pop that on and then do your mascara. And then probably by the time you're done, you'll be ready to pop on this top coat, which like I said, has a really good scent. Kind of fruity, I think. But you put this on and then It feels so comfortable, first off. Doesn't feel like matte liquid lipstick, but it just has the appearance of a nice cream lipstick. And then whenever you need to reapply, you could keep this on you and keep pairing this same product with this. And if you can keep some moisture going there, like you're in between parties or whatever, reapply just the balm and you'll have a really long wearing look. But even if that wears down, you've still got color on your lips is kind of my point here. You could put other glosses on top of this, but this is the one that's built to be worn with that and keep the staying power hanging on. Other glosses may break this down. But that is my finished look, friends, and I'm really, really happy with it. Again, there is some strategy involved. We want it to be long wearing. We want it to look good close up. That's why we chose a foundation that's a long wear but a natural finish. That's why our concealer application was not too thick and heavy. For eyes, we're just sticking with those really natural tones that are going to frame our eye, maybe give us a little bit of lift, but pretty much work with anything. Now, that's not to say if you're really loving your eyeshadow these days and you're wanting to, you know, wear some lime green that goes with your lime green skirt or whatever, if that's what you like, I say do what you really truly enjoy and love, but I'm trying to create a video here that a lot of people could follow even if they're not that familiar with what to do. And then lips, have fun with it, but this is a really good formula here from Rimmel. If I had to do it all over again, my friends, this is what I would wear for Sorority Rush. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any tips and tricks and things you want to share in the comments section, please do. And best of luck to anyone who is going through that process on either side of it this year. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye. Oh, can I add one more thing here on the topic of false lashes? I used to be really into false lashes, and then I started to have like a lot of irritation on my lash line. Sometimes, not others. It was just inconsistent enough to make me really not want to wear them that often. But I have discovered these, and at first when I had a little set of these, I was putting them on top of my eyes, which some clusters are made to be worn that way. But these are the no glue needed Impress press-on falsies from the brand Kiss, and these are actually designed to be worn from underneath, okay? And the other day, what was it? I think it was the Meet the Teacher night. I put a couple clusters of those on the outer part of the eye. You use this little tool to like press them down. I'll have to work them into a video at some point, but they looked really natural, and my fear with a product like this was that it would cause my lashes to droop down, and it really didn't at all. Like, they just stayed standing at attention and looking probably more natural than just a regular strip of false lashes. So I thought I would recommend those if that's something you want. It says voluminous lash extension look. They're called Impress press-on falsies. You do not need glue, and they really were on there. Like, when I went to take them off at the end of the night, they weren't like falling off. But I'm still very content with this mascara from Wet n Wild that we used today, so I just thought I'd mention that. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.